Good evening from the Sanford Pentagon. I'm David Brown, and this is the Northern Sun Experience, joined by Brad Newitt, who did the color commentary for all of our NSIC tournament coverage. And Brad, we had a great 2 days covering the semifinals and 2 fantastic championships.
We sure did, and I think the thing you saw was how competitive the NSIC was and how balanced the North and the South divisions were. We had some fantastic games. The tournament went completely chalk up until the championship games here today. We had 2 great championships.
Let's start with the women's championship at first. It was Wayne State and Northern State. It was a rematch of a game last month that Wayne State won by a point in Wayne, Nebraska. So you thought it would be another close contest this time around, but Northern State comes out and they basically lead from the start. Their defense really locked down.
They really did. Northern State leads the nation, David, in points allowed per game, and they showed why tonight. Locked down a very high-powered Wayne State offense, hold them to just 45 points, and they really had control from the onset, like you said.
45 points was the lowest total that Wayne State had all season long. Their previous low was 56, so you know Northern's defense came to play.
They did, and they also did a great job controlling the boards, which is also something Northern does a great job of. And then I really felt like another part of that was just how well Northern played on the offensive end as well. They never let Wayne really get anything going momentum-wise in this championship game.
You mentioned during the broadcast that Wayne kind of likes to play that 2-3 zone, but the way that Northern State combated that, a lot of high post action because they got bigs who can shoot.
They do, and Northern State had a great game plan coming in. They got the ball to the high post. They forced Wayne to make some decisions there. And you look at what Northern has in their lineup, especially with Rachel Krogman. She had a fantastic tournament, scoring near the basket, rebounding the basketball, and it was just too much for Wayne to handle.
Talk about filling up a stat line. Megan Muchler, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 steals. You mentioned she really had a quadruple-double.
She was doing it in all areas here in this championship game, especially in the second half. I thought she was a big spark for Northern. When it looked like Wayne was maybe going to make a run, Muchler had answers and was really the thing that carried Northern to the championship.
Well, Northern State and Wayne State will still probably most likely be in that regional tournament, but it's going to be hosted somewhere else. They're not high enough to maybe garner some home advantage for that.
Yeah, it looks like the regional will probably be at Fort Hays State and Hays, Kansas, but both those teams advancing on, I think you could pretty well safely assure that. Obviously, Northern, the automatic bid for sure, and Wayne State ranked high enough. Be great to see them representing the Northern Sun Conference down there at that regional.
Let's switch over to the men's championship. We thought this game was going to be a shootout, and it ended up being just that. A lot of points from downtown. 15 threes for Augustana. They're undefeated this season when they hit 10 or more in a game. What allowed them to get such open looks and continue to run that fast tempo?
Well, it was the tempo they played at, and great ball movement. They shared the ball unbelievably tonight, and it was just kind of a contagious thing. Once a few guys started hitting threes, and I think it really started with Tanner Odegaard coming in off the bench. He hit 2 big ones early on, and they just fed off of that, and it was one after another, and that hot shooting is what carried Augustana to the championship.
They got to a 13-point lead at halftime. Zach Huskin made a 3 nearly at the buzzer after Casey Schilling saved it from going out of bounds, so Augie had some momentum, but Moorhead came back. They cut it to 6 late.
Yeah, Moorhead did not quit at all, and that's to their credit. I mean, there's a reason why they've only lost 2 games. They're 32-2 coming into tonight, and they did not lay down. They had a rough shooting night from some of their star players, but they kept battling. Like you said, it was a 6-point game with just about 3.5 to go, but they just didn't have enough to combat what Augie was doing. Augustana played so well offensively in this game, David. I'm not sure that really anyone would be able to beat them as well as they played offensively here tonight.
You mentioned how well they played offensively. That's with Dan Jansen, the co-player of the year, 0 in the first half, and he had some foul trouble too.
Yeah, I think Augustana had to be just, astounded that they were up 13, and their player of the year that's on their team didn't score, and like you said, only played 12 minutes in that first half. But guess what he does in the second half? He comes right back out there, scores over 20 in the second half, and leads the team in scoring.
Well, with this win, Augustana obviously gets the automatic berth, and unless something mysterious happens, they will host this regional tournament. There could be up to 4. It could be a rematch with Moorhead in a week.
It certainly could. I mean, NSIC poised to get 4 teams in this men's regional, which is just fantastic. Obviously, the 2 teams that played here tonight, Augustana, Minnesota State, Moorhead, but Minnesota State also very much in this thing, and I think Northern State played their way to securing a 4th team being in for the NSIC based on how well they played in this tournament as well.
So even though the NSIC tournament is over, the fun is just beginning for many of these Northern Sun teams. Brad Newitt, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on, David.
Absolutely. When we come back, my one-on-one with Northern State women's coach Curt Fredrickson.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
start here with Coach Fredrickson after Northern State's win over Wayne State in the NSIC championship. Coach, defense has sort of been the hallmark of your team all season. What was the game plan for Wayne State?
Well, we just wanted to make it hard for them. We wanted to put a little corral around Jordan Spencer on the inside, niggling on some of those girls, and make it hard for them to dribble, make it hard for them to put the ball down and dribble to the basket, cut off the driving lanes, and I thought we did that. Got a lot of tip balls, we got a lot of steals, and you know, they didn't play their best. They threw some balls away, but I like to think we had a lot to do with that, but you know, we did a good job of shutting down their good people. Yossi didn't have a lot of looks on the outside, and we did a good job of keeping her from shooting three-point shots, and we got off to that 8-0 lead and really gave our kids a lot of confidence. And you know, we've got some good defensive players, as you saw, and we don't give up a lot of points, and we did tonight, and our offense kind of at least stayed ahead of our defense a little bit and held a good team down and scored some points against them.
You mentioned the runs that you went on. There were stretches in both the first half and second half where you held them scoreless for 6+ minutes. What do you attribute that to? Length, aggressiveness, discipline?
Probably everything. You know, like I said, we've got some smart players. You know, I thought Stoltzberry did a great job on Jordan Spencer today. And Krogman's guarding their big girls, and Brecky's out guarding Yossi, and everybody kind of had a job, and everybody did it. And, you know, like I said, we had enough underneath the basket. We got 3 big girls under the basket that we just, you know, a little triangle offense underneath, and it's hard for teams to guard us down there.
From an offensive standpoint, it seems like you ran a lot of high post to combat their zone. Was that what you wanted to do coming in?
Yeah, it was. You know, Stoltzberry can hit that shot from up there, and, you know, the farther up she is, the farther their center has to come. When their center's up guarding her at the free throw line, that means we got Krogman posted up someplace underneath on a forward. And so that's what we try to do. And Muchler. Muchler can play down there too.
You mentioned Muchler. She had a great stat line. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 steals. I know it's a team effort, but what made her so special tonight?
She's just an athlete. She just played possessed. Last night she had 15 rebounds, and tonight she had 18 points, and most of them in the second half. We missed a lot of shots, and she got the offensive rebound and stuck about 3 of them in. So that was really big for us to keep the lead.
Lastly, I know it's a conference title, but does this give you any momentum heading into regionals, or is it just nice to have the championship?
It's nice to have a championship. We were in this game last year and lost, and didn't play very well, and now we played well and we won a conference championship, and really important for these 6 seniors. I mean, these guys have been around a long time, they've worked hard, and they certainly deserve this championship, and now we got a chance to keep playing, as does Wayne. It's not their last game either. Hopefully this will give us a little adrenaline, a little momentum going into the regionals. We were there last year. We lost our first game to Central Missouri. Hopefully we can do better than that and go down there with some experience and confidence and win.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time and congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
When we come back, Augustana men's coach Tom Billeter joins me on set to discuss the Vikings' first ever NSIC championship.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience from the Sanford Pentagon, joined by Tom Billeter, the winning head coach of the Augustana Vikings. Coach, congrats on the championship.
Thank you. It was a great tournament. I thought the teams that were here had a great experience. They played in front of a lot of people. Great venue for the tournament, and you know, everybody I talked to, coaches, players, they really enjoyed the experience. And you know, a fun night for us. But we played an excellent Moorhead State team, and tonight we made baskets and they didn't. But that can turn around fast, and good Lord knows we'll probably play each other again. It could easily happen. So enjoy this one tonight, but you know, we got a lot of work left. Hopefully get a few more games under our belt.
You said make baskets. You made 15 three-pointers tonight. You guys haven't lost when you make 10 or more three-pointers this season. Is there something about your offensive philosophy or your offensive sets that allows you to get those outside looks?
Well, we did a better job tonight of playing inside out through our bigs, and our bigs can really score on the block. Casey, Dan, Zach, and even Al can post up and get some good things, and so they have to start doubling and they have to get off a little bit. And so when people have to come down on our bigs, if they want to go one-on-one with our guys, we're usually going to be okay. They come down a little bit inside out to pass it. You know, you've been getting that pass from your mother, your girlfriend, your buddy in the driveway. That's how you learn to shoot a basketball. So our deal is inside out, no doubt, and let's grab that thing and shoot it in. And tonight we were making them.
It was a 16-point game, but that score might be a little misleading. They still shot 50%. You out-rebounded them by 11, but you only allowed 5 offensive rebounds. Was there a point not to allow them second chances?
Yeah, I thought the key really and truly was we didn't give up a lot of threes to them. They shot a lot of them, but they didn't make a lot of them, and that was a key. You know, they really like to shoot that ball and to shoot the 3 ball. I thought Adam Byer did a very nice job on Jordan Reavers, and I haven't seen a stat. I have no idea. I'm sure Jordan still had 20 points. He's a great
19 actually.
He's a great player, and he made some incredible shots. But, you know, he never just took over, you know, like I thought, you know, might happen. And I thought we did a nice job. And you were always going to give something up. I mean, we were in his gaps, and we were slowing him down a little bit. And so they did hit some shots that were probably looked really open to the media and to the crowd. But you're going to give something up just like they had to against us. But he's a whale of a player.
You talk about Adam Byer, other guys stepping up for you. Alex Richter, Tanner Odegaard hit a couple back-to-back threes early in the first half.
You know, we had in the first half between he and Zach Hueskin 12 points from our bench, and we had 2 last night. You know, we don't have a deep bench, and so we were outscored by Northern 26-2 on bench points. And so tonight to have 12 going in the half, and everybody's saying, well, Dan Jansen didn't score, Dan didn't score. Well, you know what? We have 12 points off our bench, so that helped make up for that a little bit.
Looking more at the stat line, basically Moorhead had 9 players that scored. No one player, even though Reaver had 19, it didn't seem like you let any one player do well against you.
Came in and hit some threes. I thought he really lifted them and kept them in there. You know, that's a good-looking freshman, and we loved him out of high school. He's a really good player. At the time, I didn't have any scholarships, but I really liked that kid. Not that we would have got him, but we saw him play, and he was always one of our favorites. And I thought he did a nice job tonight. So, you know, again, it's a funny game. It's a game of runs, and we really had a nice run at the end of the first half, and then they cut it to 6. I believe it was 88-82, and we got a couple really nice low touches, made some free throws, and just kind of got it right back up to 9, 10, and it just seemed like it hovered there all the time. But when you're playing a team like Moorhead, that's 3 shots. You know, that's 3 stops, 3 threes, and they've got the lead, you know. So that's kind of how you have to play against them, and I thought we did a pretty nice job of trying to keep it around that 10-point mark.
You alluded to it a little bit in the postgame. Most likely you will host a regional tournament, and you could face
I've
these guys again.
never talked about it. Everybody keeps asking me about it, but heck, that's the NCAA and administration. But I don't think we hurt our cause tonight, that's for sure. So, you know, it'd be great to have it. You know, I'd much rather be here than someone else's gym. So I hope it happens, but who knows? Stranger things have occurred.
And you could face this team again in a couple weeks.
We could play Northern, Mankato, all of them again. I think they'll all 4, you know, be in, and I think we'll get 3 from the Missouri League, and I think you'll get a GAC team in there. And I think it'll be just a great tournament. It's you know, Central Missouri's the defending national champs. They'll be in it. They'll be a high seed. So it'll have a lot of drama, and it'll be just a great few days of college basketball. Sioux Falls is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, the games they've attracted here for this community, and basketball just seems to be such a major part of this community, you know, and I, you know, really appreciate Sanford for what they've done and being able to host like this, and just the entire community, their love for college basketball, high school, all basketball is just, you know, it's the best D-League team, you know, in terms of attendance and support. So just a great basketball community.
Lastly, just looking back at your run in the tournament, different games. You had some struggles maybe a little bit against Duluth, then a very physical game against Northern, and then this championship game against Moorhead where you shoot the lights out. Can you play these different styles? Can that continue?
Yeah, I mean, we never get caught up in, you know, okay, we beat Duluth 71-62, you know, kept it in the 70s, and that's how Matt plays. It was great. They're a good team. That's a good win. You know, I mean, they're playing really well at the end of the year. They're playing their best basketball. They've got a great player in Brett Irvin. And then, you know, Northern wants to beat us. You know, I don't know if anybody realizes how we are going to get their best punch every single game. It was a very physical game. It was allowed to be that way both ways. And, you know, we were fortunate to get that win in overtime. None of this happens. So it's just a funny game. I mean, it's a game of inches. You know, if Reaver doesn't hit that shot over Marai, we're playing Mankato tonight. No, who knows what would have happened, you know. So it's just such an interesting game, and just happy and proud of our guys tonight, but we were happy to be playing in the championship game.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the NSIC championship.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks you guys for doing such a great job covering the tournament, and really appreciate Midco for all you guys are doing for athletics. It's just great. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you, no problem. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, we head to Mankato for indoor track and field championships and NCAA Region 3 wrestling.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Well, in addition to all the excitement that was going on here at the Pentagon, there was also a lot of excitement going on in Mankato, Minnesota last week. They hosted the Indoor Track and Field Championships as well as NCAA Region 3 Wrestling. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the two-day track and field event. On the men's side, it was all Minnesota State. The home school won its 4th straight NSIC title with 163 team points. The star for the Mavericks was Emmanuel Matadi, who won the 60-meter dash, 200-meter dash, and was part of the winning 4x400 relay team. As for some individual women's standouts, Wayne State's Sarah Wells set a new shot put record at just under 52 feet. Meanwhile, Augustana's Kayla Mesher set a new NSIC record with an 800-meter dash time of 2 minutes 13 seconds flat. The University of Mary won the team championship on the women's side with 142 team points. Congrats to all participants. National qualifiers for the NCAA championships will compete March 13th and 14th in Birmingham, Alabama. Later in the weekend, Minnesota State hosted the NCAA Super Region 3 Championships for wrestling, and 16 NSIC wrestlers qualified for the national championships in St. Louis next week, including 4 individual champions. Those 16 include the following: at 125 pounds, champion TJ North of Augustana, Dwayne Robertson of Minnesota State, and Tim Prescott of St. Cloud State. At 133 pounds, Blake Bosch of Minnesota State Moorhead and Mike Rohn of St. Cloud State. At 149 pounds, Larry Bomstead of St. Cloud State. At 157 pounds, champion Clint Poster of St. Cloud State. At 165 pounds, champion Cody Quinn of Minnesota State and Gabe Fogarty of St. Cloud State. At 174 pounds, Jacob Begin of Southwest Minnesota State. At 197 pounds, Jade Dockin of Augustana and Joe Gomez of Northern State. And finally, in the heavyweight division at 285 pounds, the NSIC got all 4 spots. Champion Austin Gorgon of St. Cloud State, Cole Wilson of Southwest Minnesota State, Logan Hopp of Upper Iowa, and Michael Lohman of Augustana. After their respective matches, we heard from 165-pound champ Cody Quinn, who got emotional after missing the past season due to an injury, as well as 157-pound champ Clint Poster.
It's a cool feeling, you know, it's kind of, it was almost helped me, you know, I've got fuel right now. I had to sit out of here and watch guys that I had defeated, guys that I wanted to wrestle, win titles, All-American, do things I wanted to do. So, I mean, think about a year to think about that. It gives you a lot of fuel. So that's kind of what you see right now is just that fuel burning off.
I knew I had the talent to come here and win this one. I mean, it's a tough tournament. Pretty much just a warm-up for the national tournament. That's the way I looked at it. But yeah, I definitely knew I had the skill set. They all had to fall together this weekend.
St. Cloud State, by the way, got second in the team scores. When we come back, my top 5 plays of the past week. I'm pretty sure you guys know what the top 2 are, but which one is number 1?
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience here at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. Congratulations to the Northern State Wolves on the women's side and the Augustana Vikings on the men's side for their respective NSIC championships. And of course, thanks to the Sanford Pentagon for letting us stick around and host this show. Well, considering the setting we're in, it's only fitting that the top 5 plays revolve around the round ball. At number 5, it's Tay for Trey. Sioux Falls' Taylor Varsho takes the inbounds and hits a running 3 at the end of the first half against St. Cloud State. Check it out again. Varsho gets a great running start and then line drives it home for the buzzer-beating 3. USF would not advance past St. Cloud State, but maybe Varsho can try out for the softball team, knowing that her line drive is a hit at number 5. For number 4, we've got some Husky hustle. James Fort with a monster block against SMSU, which turns into a long transition 3 for Scotty Stone. Great play at both ends by St. Cloud State, Fort with the defense and Stone with the offense. The Huskies topped the Mustangs in round 1 of the tournament, and while they would fall in round 2, this long 3, along with the block from Fort, comes in at number 4. At number 3, the Dragons Fire threads the needle. Gijal Songolo with a great bounce to Urban Bingham for the slam. Here it is again, the pick and roll between Songolo and Bingham is worked to perfection. A nice bounce, a powerful slam, and the Vikings flew past Upper Iowa into the NSIC semifinals. And that's where our top 2 plays come from. Number 2 has to go to Augustana's Dan Jansen, who hits this runner with a little more than 2 seconds left on the clock to top Northern State in overtime. Here it is again, the Vikings wasted some time, and when the defenders bit too hard on a driving Jordan Spencer, he kicked it out and Jansen had all the room he needed to operate. It was a physical back-and-forth game between Northern State and Augustana, and even though the Wolves nearly pulled off the upset, this runner from Jansen put the Vikings into the NSIC championship against Minnesota State Moorhead. But how the Dragons got to the title game is clearly our number 1 play. After a Zach Monahan 3 gives Minnesota State a 1-point lead with just seconds to go, MSU Moorhead's Jordan Reaver drives the length of the floor and hits the tough runner at the buzzer. Unless you're a Mavs fan, there's simply no way you can get sick of this replay. Reaver says the Dragons practice that play every time they go to practice and simply call it win the game, and that's exactly what he did. Even though Reaver and the Dragons fell short eventually in the NSIC championship to Augustana, this thrilling finish, along with his tough running buzzer beater, comes in as the number 1 play of the past week in the NSIC. For more information on all things NSIC, you can visit northernsun.org. Once again, a thank you to all of our member schools for their contributions to this week's show. And once again, a thank you to the Sanford Pentagon. They hosted a great tournament. Again, Augustana will move on, and Northern State will move on as they win the championships in the NSIC. We'll have complete regional coverage coming up next week on the Northern Sun Experience.